One encounter with the stars in the night sky nudges the accidental witness to enter a state of contemplative silence, the awe and wonder of the moment. A second, more expansive encounter, revealing not just the stars, but the multitude of galaxies and uncharted worlds, invites an even more profound response. Each encounter, humbly received, effectively reduces the one who is privileged to stand in the vastness to something more than silence. Each encounter, somehow divine and sacred, because what else might it be, is one experience that contradicts certitude and conviction, that excludes rather than includes. Each encounter is a teaching moment, an invitation to perspective. Perhaps, if not the first lesson learned, the essential lesson that perspective teaches is primary and foundational. Any rule, theory, dogma, or doctrine that does not include or acknowledge the observable universe as a singular starting point is most assuredly invalid, contaminated with the stench of arrogance. It's not that the universe needs or requires such an acknowledgement. It is rather that any claim to authenticity of experience requires what is known, and even what is ultimately unknowable. It may have once been understandable for human beings to possess misplaced confidence about their supposed central and essential place in the universe. The bold proclamation of the Hebrew Scriptures, anchored in the experience of their nomadic and primitive culture, and the cultures that preceded them and on which they were at least somewhat dependent for their religious insight and wisdom, is understandable. However, any such confidence today would seem to be perverse, an almost unimagined warping of what might be understood as truth. What we think we might know sufficiently lacks reference to what we do not know. It's not measurable and cannot be compared, contrasted, or for that matter, contextualized. Human experience, even the full measure and girth of human experience, is inconsequential to any kind of reality. It is at best the smallest point of measurement. If it registers at all on any scale, it is almost accidental, certainly incremental to the fullness of the truth. To go beyond that which can be observed and to require even more seems to be perilous. For a human being to demand, in this experience of vulnerability and nakedness, that the universe focus, as a consequence of their awareness, any attention to human thoughts and questionings is ludicrous. Are human beings capable of learning what they can cry out as loud as they want? Stomp their feet? Raise their voice? Shake their fists to the heavens? It does not matter, and no measure is taken or assumed. If humankind persist in their desire for attention, use anger and righteousness in a futile attempt to be noticed, the silence of the cosmos is more deafening. The same energy might be marshaled against another human being if you dare, but it's even more pitiful and even more desperate. One of the great experiments of the cosmos, evolving consciousness and self-awareness, may be more of a failure than a success. Perhaps in other species there may be some kind of hope for what had been imagined, but within the human species a fatal flaw has been revealed. Human beings are seemingly incapable of the majesty of creation and persist rather to reduce everything to the smallest possible component. Complicated reality, and most assuredly the immense power of chaos, does not energize the human species, but rather drives them deeper into self, deeper into the false safety of believing that they are knowledgeable and aware, when they are most certainly anything but engaged with meaning on any level and being. If human beings create, at best their creation is a distraction. It does not expand the universe, but rather constricts the universe. Their preferred tools of creation, particularly the illusion of the well-ordered and defined, and the distracting, their insistence on predictability, contributes nothing and contradicts all that is and all that ever will be. Even their most frenzied and dedicated perseverance is nothing more than removing a ladle of water from the ocean in the false belief that the ocean might be emptied. In a desperate response to futility, some explain, "I'm spiritual but not religious." In truth, a frantic and limp defensive posture. It denies the practice and the discipline that a religious tradition champions, but replaces it with absence rather than fullness. The sacred and the holy does not need to be acknowledged to be true. It is, and it always will be as it is. To perceive light instead of darkness, life instead of death, if even for a moment, is a gift that invites a response, not a shrug of the shoulders or an empty claim to be somehow more than what is timeless, what is now, what is, and will forever be. The human ego cries out, "Pay attention to me, confirm my importance, reassure me that I have meaning, that I have worth." Or in the words of a religious tradition that may well be bankrupt, spent by useless energy, overburdened, and weighed down by what is not important or even necessary, tell me that I too am eternal. And there's nothing in return but silence. For anything else would be an empty acknowledgement of something that was at best a false hope, a misplaced understanding, a last-ditched effort to explain and to make sense of the ultimate experience that just is, and nothing else. Confronted with the overwhelming evidence of more rather than less, the entrenched authorities, the so-called interpreters of what has been and what might be, respond in fear, but pretend that it's power. Punish him, banish him, silence him, kill him. Let not the truth be spoken or revealed. Mock him, laugh at him, scorn him. Anything is preferable to listening to him. The truth must be obscured. The cloud and the mist must not be lifted. The smoke must not be cleared away. And yet, be still. There remains the witness of the night sky. The invitation cannot be ignored. The call is something more that cannot be repealed. The revelation will not be aborted. The truth will not be silenced. If not today, someday. It is inevitable. It cannot be stopped. It must be answered. It will be lived. And in the living, there will be authenticity and life.